Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Andrew Brown, or for anyone that was unfortunate enough to play me in poker last night, you know I also go by the name of that guy who stole my money. Going later in the conference is sort of a benefit for us because it gives us a chance to see what everyone else is talking about and how everyone else is approaching things. And as nervous as it makes my marketing team actually make some changes to our presentation as we approach the end of the conference. So we had a really nice PowerPoint presentation prepared. It had some really nice animations. It had some big diagrams with some little letters on it. But I've decided to skip that for today and just do a demo of the Laserfiche solution. What I'm going to show you today is a proof of concept that we built for one of our customers that's actually using and benefiting from this right now. Really, it comes down to the fact that we're just really proud of what we built, and I just want to show it to you today. Okay? So we're going to show an automated straight-through process new account opening. It uses CRM functionality. It uses LaserApp, uses Laserfiche for document management, document imaging, and it also uses Docusign for some digital signature functionality. So I'm going to run through this demo. If you have any questions at the end, I'm more than happy to take those as well. I always say I know we're doing a really good Laserfiche demo when we don't start the demo by using our own software. Right? We start by using somebody else's software. That's how you know that you're showing something that's actually relevant and makes sense to people in the real world. So we're going to start in our CRM application. In this case, it's Redtail. For anyone that was here last year, you know that we showed our integration with Salesforce last year. So we just happen to be using Redtail for this particular demo. So I'm going to go ahead and look up one of my brand new clients named Margaret. And I've got all of her information stored here in Redtail, direct access to it. But now we need to go through the process of getting her to sign and fill out the new account forms. So we can go directly down to the integrations tab here. And directly from Redtail, we're just going to send all of Margaret's information directly to LaserApp, right? So it's just going to prep all of the information that we have on Margaret and then ready to drop it directly into all of the LaserApp forms for us. Okay. Of course, we're using LaserApp Anywhere for this. So underneath my published forms, I'm just going to use a sample document. This isn't tied to anyone in particular. It's just a blank new account form. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and you see all the information from Redtail was immediately pushed and filled into the appropriate areas on the LaserApp form. Now, typically, this would be an instance where somebody would say, okay, it's time to print this, get a wet signature, maybe store it, scan it back into a document imaging system. But you see that we have a nice little integration here that allows us to take the LaserApp form that was just created with all the information from the CRM application and just send that directly into Laserfiche, right? So it's just a seamless integration between the CRM application, LaserApp, and now Laserfiche for document management. So I'll go ahead and send all of these new forms that were just prepared to the Laserfiche repository. And it's going to prompt me to say all of the information was successfully sent to Laserfiche. It was sent by Andrew Brown on behalf of Margaret J. Investor. Gives me the exact date. Now, the minute this information hits the Laserfiche repository, any action that's taken on it, anyone that views it, anyone that prints it, anyone that sends it, that's all audited information. We have a full audit trail database. So the moment it hits our repository, we're literally tracking every action that occurs to it and who's taking those actions. So I now don't have to transition and open up Laserfiche and move to that. Directly from the LaserApp interface, I'm able to just go directly to where this information has been stored within Laserfiche in our repository, right? So now that we're actually in the Laserfiche software, I can walk you through just briefly what's going on here. I have my own user folder within Laserfiche just for Andrew Brown, and anything that is on my desk, my digital desk to take action on, just sits in my user folder. So it's sort of like my task list or my queue folder. But I also have access to just all of my clients by going through this interface, right? So I have my to-do list, but then I also have access to all of my client information and you see that we can set up a nice hierarchy in terms of how we're storing all of the client's information. Everything we're doing so far is totally web-based, so it's not even necessary to install any of these applications on an actual desktop. But now what we need to do is that now that the information or the documents were created in Laser App and stored into Laserfiche repository, we now need to get some signatures. And the moment that we come in, we can actually prompt this business process window to appear, and it just gives all the explicit instructions to the advisor or whoever as to what action they need to take, right? So the next steps are, please have this document signed via Docusign, and then at any time I can see the full history of everything that's happened to it. So when it was created, who's looked at it, what actions have gone on before it's come to me. So we have a nice integration with Docusign. So directly from the Laserfiche interface, again, I'm not switching between applications, just a seamless flow from one to the next. I can just select Send Out to Docusign for signature. So the client is Margaret Investor. And for this particular demo, you'll have to bear with me. I'm not going to use my own personal email account, and I don't want to switch in between email accounts. So we're just going to pretend that the client and the advisor have the exact same email address, just to make this a little bit easier on us. So we're going to go ahead and request the signature. Now this is an interface that's just built directly into the Laserfiche repository, but it's just prompting you for all the information necessary to process this through Docusign. Yeah, that's a good question. So the question is, if you already have the email address of the client in your CRM application, can it just automatically populate? The answer is yes. Okay. So when I go into my inbox, I already have an email sent to Margaret Investor saying there are documents that are waiting for you to sign. We'll go ahead and just view those documents through Docusign. I agree to do business electronically with Laserfiche. All I have to do is click Start. Takes me right to where I need to apply my signature. If I hadn't used Docusign in the past, I could now actually enter my signature by clicking and dragging my mouse. If you're on a tablet, you can actually just use your finger to create the signature as well. So we're going to go ahead and apply that, confirm our signing. And now that that's happened, Docusign is going to automatically prompt the next person in the process, which is the person that opened the account, Andrew Brown, to also apply his signature to the document as well. So yes, I agree to do business electronically. I see that Margaret's signature has already been applied. I can apply my signature and confirm the signing. And so we have a nice integration between Docusign and Laserfiche so that once those two signatures are applied, it automatically notifies the Laserfiche workflow engine that those signatures have been applied and that we can move it on to the next step in the process. It doesn't have to be a manual step. The fact that the signatures were applied is the notification to the workflow engine to move on to the next stage of the process. So while this was sitting in my queue folder or my to-do list, now that both those signatures have been applied, the workflow engine is going to recognize that and immediately pick it up and move it to the next stage of the process, right? So it's been removed from my queue or my to-do list. So the next action is that we can then notify someone in the back office to go through and review these new documents that were just signed. So you see we have a review folder. We have back office processing and also suitability approval. So we see that Margaret's new account form is waiting here for us. We could open it up and view it. We could validate the signatures through Docusign if we wanted to. Or directly from this interface, we can just say NIGO approval. We're going to go ahead and approve that and save it. And again, that's going to prompt our workflow engine to say, okay, that task has been completed. We're going to take this task and remove it from your queue and then move it to the next stage of the process, which is suitability approval. Exact same process here. We see that it's already gotten the NIGO approval. We're just going to apply our suitability approval, save it, and now it's going to automatically route all of these documents to the client's folder and we'll have long-term access to it in the Laserfiche repository. Fully text searchable. It's got metadata applied to it that we can search on. It's all web-based, so we can access it from our desktop. We can access it from our tablet or our smartphone. And it doesn't just have to stop here. Laserfiche doesn't just ingest information from other applications. The workflow engine can actually prepare information to hand off to other applications. So now that this process has been completed, there may be some other databases that we need to go and notify that this has been approved and that this is a new account that has been opened. Also, because the question comes up a lot, you don't necessarily have to use the Laserfiche client interface to search for documents. You can use your CRM interface and just go directly to the client's page in CRM and just have access to all the content in Laserfiche directly from your CRM interface as well. We showed that with our Salesforce integration last year. So not everyone wants to have every stage of this be electronic or digital. That's fine. We just wanted to show you a real proof of concept demonstration where we pass information from CRM to LaserApp to Laserfiche, get this, the signatures through Docusign, and then handle the long-term storage in the Laserfiche repository as well. Okay. So that's the demonstration. I'm more than happy to take any questions. I'm not more than happy to show the PowerPoint presentation though, because I promised I wouldn't do that. Yes, sir. In the back? Okay.
I'm really interested in the Redtail piece of it. How did you, right now this document's in this queue, how does it link between Redtail and the client record as far as how does that document know to get to the right client record or folder? Did you have to pre-create that folder and then link that folder to Redtail as a prior process? Is that automated somehow? So if I'm in Redtail and I don't have a folder in your system, where does that document go? Do I have to end up creating that folder? What's that whole integration like?
So there are a couple of ways that you can address that. Typically what we see when we start is we will point the Laserfiche workflow engine towards your existing CRM database, and it will actually go through and systematically create a folder for all of the existing accounts. So that's one way of approaching it to cover the legacy or the back file. Going forward, I believe that it's actually LaserApp that's passing the information. So it goes from Redtail to LaserApp to Laserfiche. And there's a very simple workflow path in our system that says, do we already have a folder for this client? If yes, then go ahead and put this documentation in there. If no, go ahead and just create that folder automatically. So it's normally a two-step approach. We point Laserfiche to your existing CRM database to create the folder structure from the past. And then going forward, those folders will automatically be created as part of the workflow process. Does that answer your question?
When it showed the email going to client, it said, you know, do you want to do business with Laserfiche? Click here. Is there a way to brand that? Our client may not know who Laserfiche is.
Yeah, that's a good question. I assume the answer is yes. I assume that's just Docusign. So that may be a better question for them. Yeah, we're getting the thumbs up from the Docusign guys. And sorry again for taking your money last night.
So you said this is straight through processing, but we still need to get to the clearing firm or the product company. How does that take place?
Yeah, that's a good question. So again, the workflow engine is really great at looking at other databases and ingesting information from them, but that's not its only function. It's not a single direction. It's a bi-directional functionality. So very commonly, at the end of any workflow process, Laserfiche creates a data set to then be passed off or ingested into another application. It's really important to us that we're not just automating things within Laserfiche. We want to automate the process. And the way that we do that is by looking up into other databases and creating data sets to hand off to other applications too. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thanks everyone for their time this morning. We still have our booth set up in the main room. If you have any questions or want to talk to us directly, we're happy to speak with you. Thanks again.